Your body changes, your skin thins, your nights feel longer, but no one tells you that even your desire might quietly fade. One day, you realize it's not just about sex. It's about feeling alive. Touch used to mean something. Now it's routine or worse, forgotten. But here's the truth. For men over 60, masturbation isn't a joke, a shame, or a leftover habit. It's a window, a way back to your body, a way to reconnect with what still works, what still feels, what still matters. And yet, most men don't talk about it. Doctors avoid it. Friends laugh it off. But deep down, you know something is changing. Maybe you feel less. Maybe you crave less. Maybe it's been weeks, months, and still, no one says a word. So in this video, we'll talk honestly. Not like a lecture. Like two old friends who've lived long enough to know the value of truth. You'll discover what most men don't realize until it's too late, and how small conscious changes can awaken what's been dormant for far too long. Because it's not about performance, it's about presence, and you deserve to feel present again. It doesn't start with a dramatic change. No warning bells, no pain, just silence. And slowly, your body begins to drift away from itself. You wake up and realize you're not as responsive. You don't feel things the same way. Touch feels distant, like someone dimmed the volume on your skin. It's subtle, so subtle that many men ignore it until it's too far gone. But what's happening underneath is very real. After 60, your circulation starts to weaken, especially in areas you once took for granted. Blood doesn't flow as easily. Hormone levels decline, testosterone drops, and with that, not just your drive, but your connection to your own pleasure changes. The sensations you once found powerful now feel muffled. This isn't just about sex, it's about identity. For decades, masculinity has been tied to function, to stamina, to performance. So when these things begin to fade, even gently, it hits harder than anyone talks about. It affects confidence, emotional presence, and the sense of being a whole, capable man. You might laugh it off, or say, that's just aging. But deep inside, there's a whisper asking, is this the beginning of the end? That question isn't about fear, it's about dignity. And here's what you deserve to know. Decline is not destiny. What you're feeling is natural, but it's not irreversible. The body may slow down, but it still listens, it still responds, especially when given attention. Real, conscious, intentional attention. Most men over 60 were never taught how to adapt. We were taught to power through, to pretend we don't need pleasure unless it's with someone else. But the truth is, your relationship with your own body is one of the most important ones you'll ever have, and it doesn't retire when you do. The absence of stimulation, especially after decades of activity, causes more damage than people think. The nerves stop firing, the sensitivity dulls, the muscles forget how to respond, and over time, your body assumes it's no longer needed in that way. It starts to shut down, not as punishment, but as adaptation, like an unused tool collecting dust. But here's the part no one tells you, that shutdown can be reversed with awareness, with care, with time. And that begins with a simple shift, not in technique, but in mindset. Instead of chasing what you used to feel, what if you gave yourself permission to explore what you can feel now? What if you could listen more closely to the new language your body is speaking, rather than trying to force it to speak the old one? Because the body, even in its quietest years, still wants to be heard. And in the next breath, in the next moment, it just might surprise you. You touch yourself the way you always did, but something feels off, not wrong, just dull, like your body forgot how to respond. This numbness doesn't arrive overnight. It creeps in quietly, masked by routine, stress, or even long periods of neglect. At first, you think it's just a bad day or that you're distracted, but slowly the truth sinks in. You don't feel much anymore. For men over 60, this is More common than anyone wants to admit. The skin becomes less sensitive. The nerve endings don't fire as fast. What used to bring instant pleasure now barely registers. It's not just physical, it's emotional. You begin to feel detached from your own body, as if pleasure is something that belongs to a younger version of yourself. But here's the hard truth. When you stop exploring your body stops remembering how to feel. And over time, it's not just your touch that fades. It's your sense of intimacy, self-confidence, and emotional connection with your own being. Think about it. For years, touch may have only been associated with performance, something that had to work. But now that pressure backfires. The more you expect, the less you feel. The more you chase the past, the more the present escapes you. And the silence you experience in your body becomes a mirror to the silence you feel inside. This numbness can also show up as guilt or shame. Maybe you were taught that masturbation was something dirty, childish, or not needed at your age. So even when your body craves connection, your mind resists it. You end up rushing, hiding, or avoiding the act altogether. And every time you do, that small thread of connection becomes weaker. But here's what's powerful. Numbness isn't the end. It's a signal. It's your body saying, I need something different now. Not faster, not harder, just different. What if, instead of treating your body like a machine that should just work, you treated it like a garden, something to nurture, listen to, care for? Not in a feminine or soft way, but in a way that honors your age, your journey, and your right to still feel pleasure, even if it looks different now. This is where healing begins. When you stop seeing masturbation as a task and start seeing it as a conversation, because numbness isn't a dead end. It's a closed door, one that still has a key, and once you understand what that key is, you'll unlock more than just sensation. You'll unlock your sense of wholeness again. But to find that key, you'll first need to challenge everything. You were taught about pleasure. Most men think of masturbation as a leftover from their youth, a private habit, a release, nothing more. But that couldn't be further from the truth. What if this act, so often whispered about or dismissed, was actually a powerful tool for healing, balance, and vitality in your 60s, 70s, and beyond? Let's break something wide open here. Masturbation, done with intention and care, has real benefits. Not just for your sex life, but for your heart, your brain, your hormones, your sleep, even your emotional clarity. When you stimulate yourself, especially in a slow, mindful way, you increase blood flow to areas that desperately need it after 60. You help preserve tissue health. You maintain elasticity in blood vessels. And yes, this even helps with erectile function over time. Like any muscle, disuse leads to decline, but gentle, regular stimulation reminds your body, I still need this. Keep it alive. On a hormonal level, things get even more interesting. Masturbation releases dopamine and oxytocin, your brain's natural feel-good chemicals. These are the same chemicals that lift your mood, ease stress, and help you sleep deeper at night. They can reduce inflammation, regulate blood pressure, and help fight off depression, which quietly haunts many older men but rarely gets discussed. And then there's testosterone. Yes, levels drop with age, but regular sexual activity, including masturbation, has been linked to maintaining more stable testosterone levels. Not sky high, just balanced, enough to keep energy, motivation, and even muscle mass from slipping too far. But maybe the biggest surprise? Masturbation can restore emotional intimacy, not with a partner, but with yourself. After decades of rushing, hiding, or pushing through the act, slowing down can reawaken something deeper, connection. You begin to notice what your body still responds to. You learn to breathe with it, not fight against it. You stop chasing climax and start appreciating sensation. That shift, however subtle, can change how you walk through the world. Because when a man feels connected to his own body, something softens in him. He becomes less reactive, more grounded, more at peace. It's not about ego, it's about presence. And yet, no one talks about this. Why? Because our culture still treats male pleasure as something either aggressive or shameful, never sacred. But the truth is, your body is still sacred. And this act, when done with care, can be sacred too. So the next time you feel ashamed or unsure, ask yourself, what if this isn't indulgence? What if this is medicine? Because that's what no one told you. Sometimes the most healing touch is your own. And once you believe that, you'll never see your body the same way again. You finish, but you don't feel satisfied, not really. You close the screen, clean up, and sit in silence. Something's missing, and you can't explain why. That's the trap. The cycle of fast stimulation, high arousal, and shallow satisfaction. It leaves you more disconnected than when you started. For many men over 60, porn becomes a substitute for what the body no longer feels easily. And over time, it becomes the very reason you feel less. Pornography promises intensity, but what it delivers is overload. Your brain, flooded with images, can't keep up. The dopamine spike from constant novelty rewires your reward system. What once felt exciting now feels normal. What used to turn you on now needs to be faster, louder, more extreme, and while your eyes may be entertained, your body falls behind. Your real nerves, your actual skin, your unique rhythm, they can't match the artificial pace. Over time, the gap between what you see and what you feel grows wider, and suddenly touch feels dull. Imagination weakens. Even intimacy with a partner can start to feel like work. Here's the hidden danger. Porn isn't just a visual tool. It trains your brain. It teaches your body to expect rush, not depth, outcome, not presence. And when you're over 60, your body isn't designed for speed. It's built for wisdom, sensation, and patience. Many older men report that their erections are weaker, their climax is less intense, and their emotional satisfaction almost non-existent. What they don't realize is that the constant overstimulation is desensitizing the very system they're trying to revive. But here's the good news. You can undo it. You don't have to quit cold turkey. You just need to shift the way you experience pleasure. Start by turning the screen off, then slow down. Close your eyes. Let your mind do the work. Let your hand respond to your breath, not a scene. Learn what your skin likes again, not what a script tells you it should. At first it might feel boring, but give it time. You're not chasing dopamine now. You're reintroducing yourself to your body, and that takes tenderness. This isn't about shame. It's about awareness. Porn doesn't make you weak, but relying on it steals your sensitivity and your connection to what's real. Because here's the truth that never shows up on screen. Your body still knows how to feel, but you have to give it the space and silence to speak again. So the next time you reach for the screen, ask yourself, are you looking for stimulation or are you longing for connection? One leads to a spike, the other leads to healing. Most men touch themselves the same way they've done for decades, fast, quiet, secret, and rushed. It becomes routine, mechanical, empty. But here's something powerful no one teaches us. Your body responds differently when it feels seen, even by you. When masturbation becomes a habit rather than a moment, it loses meaning. You go through the motions. Same position, same pressure, same expectation. You might finish quickly or not at all. Either way, the experience ends without satisfaction. Not because your body is broken, but because your attention is. This is where intention changes everything. Intentional touch isn't about being slow or sensual. It's about being present. Being with your body instead of performing on it. And the shift isn't difficult, it just requires one thing, curiosity. When was the last time you actually paid attention to your body? To the way your chest rises when you breathe, to the way your skin feels under your own hand, to the way small changes temperature, pressure, rhythm affect your arousal. These details may seem minor, but they're everything. They're how you rebuild the connection that aging, stress, and distraction slowly took from you. Start with something simple. Before you touch yourself, pause. Breathe deeply. Place your hand over your chest or your belly. Notice the warmth, the life, the fact that this body is still yours. Then, as you begin to explore, don't rush, don't aim for release, just aim to feel. Notice if your mind starts drifting. That's okay. Gently come back to sensation, back to breath, back to this small act of remembering who you are underneath all the noise. You see, when touch becomes intentional, it becomes healing. You stop seeing your body as failing and start seeing it as responsive, as trustworthy, as alive. You discover new areas of sensitivity. You notice how your mood affects your arousal. You may even find that climax isn't the most important part anymore. Intention brings softness, softness brings connection, and connection brings strength, not in performance but in presence. This isn't about becoming someone new, it's about returning to what was always there, before the noise, before the guilt, before the routine, because the truth is, your body isn't asking you to fix it. It's asking you to listen, and when you do, even the simplest touch becomes powerful again. Even the quietest moment becomes sacred. So tonight, don't ask yourself how fast you can finish. Ask yourself, how deeply can I feel? That shift, subtle, quiet, and personal, might be the most important thing you've done for yourself in years. There's no perfect formula, but there is a rhythm. And once you find it, everything starts to feel better, easier, more natural. Masturbation after 60 doesn't need to be complicated. It just needs to be thoughtful. Timing, environment, tools, and mindset all matter more than most men realize. The goal isn't just to do it, it's to enjoy it and to give your body a space to respond without pressure. Let's start with timing. Your energy and mood fluctuate throughout the day, especially as you age. For many men, early morning or late evening are the most receptive moments. Morning brings natural testosterone peaks and a sense of calm. Evening, on the other hand, allows for emotional release before sleep. Choose the time when you feel most connected to yourself, not when you're rushed, distracted, or just bored. And don't overlook your setting. A quiet, private, and comfortable space makes all the difference. This isn't a race. This is self-care. Turn off the lights if it helps you focus inward. Use soft sheets or a warm towel. Let your environment support your body's needs, not work against them. Now let's talk tools. Yes, tools. They're not gimmicks, they're allies. Lubricant, for example, is essential. As you age, natural skin moisture decreases, and dryness can lead to discomfort or numbness. A good water-based or silicone-based lubricant can transform your experience. It reduces friction, increases sensation, and allows for longer, more enjoyable sessions. You can even use a condom. Surprised? Many older men find that using one increases sensitivity and control. It creates a different kind of pressure and can reduce overstimulation from your own hand. It's also a great way to train your body if you've been struggling with climax or maintaining arousal. Now for frequency. There's no right number, but 2 to 3 times a week is a healthy rhythm for most men, enough to keep blood flow active and nerves stimulated without exhausting your energy or turning the act into a chore. More important than how often is how present you are when it happens. Avoid touching yourself out of boredom, loneliness, or frustration. That kind of touch leaves you feeling more disconnected than before. Instead, treat this moment as a ritual, something you do to reconnect with your body, calm your mind, and feel alive again. And here's one more overlooked tip. Try breathing deeply while you touch yourself. Long, slow inhales, relaxed exhales. This oxygenates your blood, calms your nervous system, and helps you stay grounded in sensation rather than lost in thought. So next time you're about to touch yourself, pause. Ask, is my body ready to receive? Or am I just trying to distract myself? When you choose the right time, use the right tools, and follow the right rhythm, you don't just reclaim pleasure, you reclaim ownership of your body. And from that space, something surprising begins to grow. You thought it was just about pleasure, but one day, in the middle of a quiet moment, a wave of emotion surprises you. You feel something real, something deep. Maybe it's sadness, maybe it's joy, maybe it's the simple, quiet recognition that your body still belongs to you. This is the part no one talks about. That intentional touch isn't just a physical act, it's a door back to yourself. After 60, life has already taken its toll. Loss, change, regret, aging, family growing distant, dreams left behind, and sometimes, without realizing it, we stop feeling fully in our bodies. We move through the day on autopilot. We forget how to check in with our own emotions. But masturbation, when done with care, has the power to bring you back home. There's a reason many men feel disconnected or even hollow after sex or climax, because the act lacked emotion. It was performance, not connection, expectation, not exploration. But when you remove the pressure and allow yourself to simply be, you create space for real feeling to emerge. You might feel grief. You might remember moments of intimacy that meant something. You might notice just how long it's been since you felt anything at all. And that's okay, because these emotions aren't interruptions. They're invitations, invitations to heal, to forgive, to reconnect. You are not just a man with needs, you are a man with history. And inside your skin lives decades of experience, memory, and quiet longing. This practice of self-touch becomes a way of honoring all that. A chance to say, I'm still here, I still matter, I still feel. Some men, after months of approaching masturbation with intention, report unexpected changes. They feel less anxious, more grounded, more open with their partners, more in tune with their breath, their emotions, their daily rhythms. This is not coincidence. It's the body remembering how to speak and the soul remembering how to listen. You see, reconnection isn't about performance. It's about presence. It's not about climax. It's about closeness with yourself. So if tears come, let them. If joy bubbles up, embrace it. If all you feel is calm, celebrate that too. Because when you stop chasing sensation and start embracing emotion, something shifts. You begin to realize that pleasure isn't just found in the body. It's in the awareness of the body. It's in the acceptance of this moment, this age, this version of you. And that kind of acceptance changes everything. Because once you reconnect emotionally, the final piece begins to fall into place. And it's not about feeling better. It's about finally feeling whole again. No one applauds when an older man chooses to reconnect with his body. There's no celebration, no ceremony, just a quiet shift, almost invisible to the world, but deeply transformative inside. That's what self-acceptance looks like after 60. It doesn't come with bold declarations or public victories. It comes in the stillness of your bedroom, in the moment you touch yourself without guilt, in the breath you take before you begin, in the way you start to see your body not as aging, but as worthy. You've spent a lifetime being told who to be, strong, stoic, unbreakable. And maybe that worked for a while. But now, strength looks different. It's not in performance, it's in softness, in slowness, in the decision to treat your body not like a machine, but like a companion who's been with you through everything. When you accept yourself, not just mentally, but physically, you begin to reclaim the parts of you that were pushed aside. The sensuality, the emotion, the vulnerability. And in doing so, you create space for something new. Peace. Yes, peace. Not the kind that comes from silence, but the kind that comes from belonging to yourself again. Self-acceptance at this stage. of life isn't passive. It's radical. It means choosing to care for a body that the world says is past its prime. It means choosing pleasure, not because it proves anything, but because it reminds you you're still alive, still feeling, still human. This quiet revolution begins every time you slow down, every time you breathe into sensation, every time you say, "I am enough, just as I am." And from there, everything changes. You move differently. You relate differently. You walk into your days with more grace and less fear, not because all your problems are solved, but because you're finally on your own side again. This video isn't just about masturbation. It's about freedom. Freedom from shame, freedom from silence, freedom from the idea that your best years are behind you. Because what if your best connection is still ahead? What if this season of life is not about decline, but about coming home to yourself? So tonight or tomorrow morning, or whenever feels right, touch yourself not to escape, but to arrive. Arrive in your breath, arrive in your skin, arrive in the truth that your body, yes, your body, is still a place of joy, dignity, and sacred presence. And if no one else tells you this, let me be the one to say it. You are not too old. You are not broken. You are not finished. You are just beginning to feel again, and that is something worth celebrating. If this message touched something in you, something quiet, something long ignored, know that you're not alone. Thousands of men are on this same path, learning, unlearning, and reconnecting with themselves in ways they never expected. If this video gave you comfort, insight, or even a sense of hope, consider subscribing. This space is here for you, for your journey, your growth, and your questions that no one else talks about. And if you feel like sharing, we'd love to hear from you. Where are you watching from? How old are you? What part of this conversation felt most real for you? Leave a comment below, not to impress anyone, but to remind someone else that they're not walking this alone. And finally, if you believe more men need to hear this truth, hit the like button. It helps this message reach the ones who need it most, because healing starts with honesty. And sometimes the smallest act of courage is clicking play.